Hello everyone, welcome to chemistry class. Here we are with another part of this chapter 2 video series, and today we will be talking about the artificial or the synthetic fibers. Let us begin here. Fibers like cotton, silk and wool that we have discussed in the previous classes or in the previous videos, all of these belong to a class of substances which are called as polymers. Now, what is a polymer? A polymer is a giant molecule. Giant means big or huge molecule formed by end-to-end joining of the small parts or units called monomers. In simple language, we can say when different monomers join with each other, they will make a big molecule which is called as a polymer. Monomers are repeating themselves as it is given here. As the monomer repeats itself through the whole polymer, this same monomer is called as the repeating unit of the polymer. We can understand this in this manner here. Just for an example, imagine that all the children of your class look alike and form a chain. Now this chain, this long chain, as you can see here, it is a polymer in which each child is repeating again and again. So a single unit is called as a monomer. A single unit in the polymer is called as the monomer. So all these monomers will repeat again and again and again. So as a result, what we'll get? We will get a long chain of repeating molecules, and this long chain is given the name of polymer. So all the fibers are actually polymers which are made by the repeating unit of monomers. We can have the examples like starch and cellulose. They are the common examples of naturally found polymers. These are the natural polymers only, and in this what is actually there, the monomers that are present are the small units which contain 6 carbon, 10 hydrogen and 5 oxygen atom. We are writing like this: C6H10 and O5. That is actually called as the chemical formula for these substances, which are these starch and cellulose. So please do underline this in your book. If it is asked, name the natural polymers, natural found polymers, you can answer starch and cellulose, and their formula is C6H10O5. 6 carbons, 10 hydrogen and 5 oxygen atoms are there. Other examples of natural polymers are also given, like hemoglobin and proteins. They are also the natural polymers. But what about the artificial ones? So artificial fibers, when we talk about artificial fibers, they are also made by the polymers which are artificially produced. Yes, these polymers are also artificial. When we say the word artificial, it means they are synthesized in the laboratory. And we will have the classification of the synthetic fiber into two manners. First one are the semi-synthetic one, and second is purely synthetic. Let us see one by one both of these. Semi-synthetic fibers are made by modifying or by putting some small chemical changes in the natural polymers. We will take the natural fiber only. We will take cotton or any other natural fiber only, and some small changes are done in the laboratory. Some small chemical changes are done in that natural polymer. That will produce the semi-synthetic fiber. So here the example, the most common example for the semi-synthetic fiber is rayon. Rayon is made from cellulose only. Cellulose is a type of cotton only. It is producing cotton only. So rayon we will read about it, and also 3 types of rayon we will all one by one. So let us read about rayon here. Cellulose is chemically treated in 3 different ways to obtain 3 different kinds of the rayon. First one is viscose rayon, second acetate rayon, and third is cupramonium rayon, also called as cupro. One by one we will see all of these. First is viscose rayon. See, the cellulose or cotton, this fiber is actually dissolved in a mixture of sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is what? NaOH. It is a chemical. It is also called as caustic soda. So we will take cellulose or cotton cloth and put it or dissolve it in the mixture of sodium hydroxide or caustic soda. And also we will put in that same solution carbon disulfide, formula is CS2. So what things we have taken? Let us write here: cellulose plus sodium hydroxide plus the carbon disulfide also. So when all of these things are taken together, what will happen? The chemical reaction or chemical change will happen. That is a viscous liquid, which is given the name of viscose. It is obtained. So this cellulose will convert. It will produce this particular liquid, that is viscose, in that solution which is containing sodium hydroxide and carbon disulfide. We'll get a viscous liquid. The meaning of the viscous liquid is actually given here. It is that kind of the liquid which cannot flow freely. Normally liquids that can flow freely, but if it is viscous, if it is more viscous, then its ability to move freely is restricted, then it cannot flow freely. That kind of liquid is viscous liquid, and this is given a name here, viscose, and that is why our topic name is viscose rayon. This cloth is called viscose rayon. So this viscose, this particular liquid, it is forced through the spinnerets, which are having small holes, into the acid bath, and then finally we'll get the viscose rayon. So here you can see this particular process, how the viscose is forced through the spinneret. There this acid is present, dilute sulfuric acid is there, and finally after this whole process, this container is spinneret. In this, the thread is produced here from the viscose. Finally we are getting what? We are getting the thread. So this is the small topic of viscose rayon. We will see the next type of the rayon now, acetate rayon. Acetate rayon, how we will take? We will take the same cellulose or cotton, and this cotton is dissolved in the mixture of acetic acid. This time we will take acetic acid, and another thing that we are taking is sulfuric acid, and again the same thing, we will take the same solution through the spinnerets, and we will get the acetate rayon also. Finally cuproammonium, this one cuproammonium rayon, this one is called as cupro. So how this cupro is obtained, let us read now here. So to obtain cupro, cellulose is dissolved in a solution of, cellulose is dissolved where? In a solution of cuproammonium hydroxide. So this is a chemical actually. Cuproammonium hydroxide is the chemical. We are taking two things, cellulose is the cotton, and another thing is cuproammonium hydroxide. When these things are reacting with each other, then what will happen? A new solution will form, and then again we will take the spinneret. Through the spinneret, when the mixture is passed through that, then we will get the cupro fiber or cuproammonium rayon is produced as a result of that. So these are the three small methods of obtaining the different type of the rayon, and in all of these we are taking what? In all of this we are using cellulose, or in other words we can say we are using cotton, and cotton is a natural fiber. We are using a natural fiber to produce rayon, and rayon is what? Rayon is a artificial fiber. So if we are using a particular natural fiber to produce artificial fiber, any artificial fiber is there, then it is called as semi-synthetic fiber. Now we will move on to the purely synthetic fiber. Now we will not use any kind of the natural cloth. This time totally chemicals will be there. So that will produce purely synthetic fibers. Purely synthetic fibers are made from chemicals by polymerization. Polymerization is the process of producing polymers. When the different monomers are joining together, they produce polymers. And this process of converting the monomers into the polymers is called as polymerization. The examples you will learn here: polyester, nylon and acrylic. All these are what? All these are the examples of the purely synthetic fibers. One by one we will see about them in details now. First is polyester. Polyester was the first purely synthetic fiber that was obtained. This is the first synthetic fiber, first artificial fiber is polyester. So polymers which are obtained by the reaction of organic compounds, that is carbon containing compounds, they will form a melt, that is a viscous liquid only, and that melt can be spun into the filaments. So this is actually how polyester is obtained. Some examples of the categories or types of polyester are given here: terylene and Dacron. They are actually belonging to the category of polyesters only. What the polyesters are used, that is important, you will learn here. Polyesters are used to make textile, bottles and insulating tapes. Insulating tapes are used by the electricians to put on the wires and all. If any cut is there, they will put the wire there. They will put this insulating tape over the wire so that the current cannot flow outside. Next is nylon. Nylon examples are given, nylon 6 and nylon 66. Both of these are the important fibers of the class of nylons. So nylon is actually another inorganic compound. In this also 6 carbon atoms are present. Nylon 66, it is a more complicated one, but the details are not related to your class. You will just learn this particular function. At least the use of each of the fiber you should be knowing. So nylon is used for making different kind of clothes, parachutes, and also the ropes. Ropes are especially made of nylon, the synthetic one. Sometimes jute is also used for making ropes and all, but the artificial one is actually nylon. Next is acrylic. Acrylic fibers are actually substituting the natural wool. This is actually, acrylics are artificial wool, and these are substitute of the natural wool. These are crimpy also. Crimpy means wavy, curly, that is crimpy, and they are not straight like the normal polyester or nylon fibers. So acrylic yarn will be more bulkier, means more bigger in size, because they are curly now, that is why, and they can compete with the wool, and they are used to make what? To make knitwear, upholstery, and artificial furs also can be made by using acrylics. So all these different purely synthetic fibers we have seen. In all of these you have to learn the uses of the given fiber. We will move on to the advantages now. So obviously the synthetic fibers are having many advantages over the natural fibers. Let us have a look over there. What are the advantages? First is they do not depend on the agricultural crop. Like for cotton, for flax, for jute, we need the crops. We need the particular agricultural crops. Also for the silk and wool, we are dependent on the animals or insects. For example, for silk we need silkworm. For wool we need sheep or yak or any other animal. So that is, we have to be dependent. But the synthetic fibers we can we can synthesize in the laboratory only. There is no need to be dependent on the natural sources. Next point, number second, that is these fibers are easily heat set. Heat set means they can retain the fold or pleat by ironing even after washing also. So it is not required to iron them again and again. For a longer period of time they can remain heat set. Next, they are more durable. Obviously the synthetic fibers are more durable. More durable means they can be used for a longer period of time. They will not be affected by the normal wear and tear in our normal daily life. Point number 4, these are not easily acted upon by the moisture, chemical, and bacteria. That is why they are more durable. They are not affected by these things, these particular substances in the atmosphere easily. These things will not affect the synthetic fibers. And last but not the least, they are generally cheaper than the natural fibers. Obviously natural fibers, to produce them, there is a more cost involved in that, and it will make the natural fiber more costly. That is why the synthetic fibers are comparatively cheaper as compared to the natural fiber. There are certain disadvantages also that we will be having a look here. Point number 1, the clothes that are made of the purely synthetic fiber they are garishly lustrous. Garishly lustrous means they are having a shining in over them. So they are shiny clothes are there. Generally they are lustrous. That is one of the disadvantage here. Next is they melt before the burning. Synthetic fiber easily can melt. So in case of the fire, if someone is wearing the clothes made of synthetic fiber, then these fibers will stick to the skin and they can cause burn injuries. So especially when we are in the kitchen or when we are using the fireworks at the time of Diwali, a festival, so that time we should not wear the synthetic clothes, because in kitchen and when using the fireworks and setting of the fireworks, we are at a risk of getting the fire. Our clothes can catch the fire there. So avoid using the synthetic clothes at that time. You can use the natural fibers only. Cotton you can use or wool you can use. Next is point number 3, synthetic fibers, they do not absorb the sweat. That is another disadvantage. Synthetic fiber will not absorb the sweat. If your body is producing sweat, this cloth will not help you in any manner. You will feel more hot also comparatively if you wear the natural fiber, you will not feel that much hot in the summer season. Next, point number 4, some electrical charge accumulates on the synthetic fiber. Some electrical charge develops there, and it will cause irritation over the skin. So this is another point which is related to the disadvantage caused by the synthetic fibers. So we have covered the advantage and disadvantages here. We will move on to this last paragraph given here. Blends make for comfortable clothing. So what is suggested here? Artificial clothes have their own advantage and disadvantage. Same way, the natural fibers are also having their own advantage and disadvantage. The best way to have the different clothes in our daily use is to make the blends. What is actually a blend? Blending means we are having mixed fibers. We are mixing the natural fibers and the artificial fibers with each other. So as a result, what will happen? The advantages of both the types, synthetic and the natural ones, can be combined in a significant manner, and therefore mixed fibers are the most common fibers we are using in our daily life. So purely synthetic fiber, definitely they are not at all comfortable to wear. We cannot wear pure synthetic fibers. Natural fibers are very comfortable, but there are certain disadvantages related to that. They are very costly also. So what can be done? We can use the mixed fibers. For example, terylene. Terylene is a mixed fiber. In this, what is mixed actually? Cotton is there, silk is there, and different other fibers like if cotton, silk and wool is mixed with each other, then we call it terrycotton or terrycotton. If it is cotton and silk only, then it is terry silk. Cotton and wool gives terry wool. Cotton and silk will give terry silk. So like this, different kind of the terylene fibers are there, which are all mixed fibers, and they can be used for obtaining the benefits of both the artificial and the another one, natural fibers. So they are comparatively less costlier also in the comparison to the natural fibers. So here we complete this chapter explanation. It was a long series. We have almost gone through 6 videos, but I hope you have understood the things nicely. Still, if any problem persists, any doubt is there, you can make it clear by posting your doubts in the comment section below, and I will be happy to help each one of you. Else you can post your queries using the Teams app. You can send me the message in the chat option. You can also ask your question to the teacher taking the live classes on the Teams app only. So that is all for now. We will have the exercise part of this chapter in the upcoming video that you will be getting in the next week itself. So thank you for now. Do take care of yourself.